Hey everyone, my name is Clayton Collins. I'm the president and CEO at HousingWire, and thank you so much for joining us for HousingWire's Mortgage Tech Virtual Demo Day. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined by my co-host, Karandish. Karen, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's me, Karandish. We have a tragic update. My filters aren't working. I can't have a cat on my head. Usually that's what I'm here for. I'm HousingWire's Director of Marketing, so I'll be here. I'm going to try to keep getting my filters to work just for that comedic relief.
So thankfully our IT team was successful in blocking Karen's filters for me, so everything is working out as planned. So before we get started and introduce today's lineup, I want to give everybody a little background on virtual demo days as we wait for everybody to log in today. And rewinding back to March when the pandemic hit our country and we saw events across the country get canceled, we heard from our audience and we heard from our clients that there's something missing, and the ability to find new partners and solutions and evaluate different technology solutions was missing. And we went out to our audience and asked our readers what they were looking for, and the virtual demo day concept came to be. Now, we've done a few of these in the last few months, and in that time period, we've been able to introduce some amazing brands and innovations to our readers, and today will be no different. So for today's Mortgage Tech Virtual Demo Day, we're focusing in on three core areas. We're going to start off with business intelligence and risk management. Then we're going to go into the future of valuation, and then get into digital mortgage origination and servicing. So three really big topics, three really important topics, and some great companies inside of each of these that are going to share their platforms and let you kind of get a behind the scenes look in a really safe environment to learn about partners that you may work with. So without any further ado, we're going to kick off our first segment, business intelligence and risk management. And today we are starting off with capacity, and David Karandish is joining us to help demo the platform. And before I pass the mic to David, he's joining us on video right now, let me give you a quick introduction to Capacity. So Capacity is a new kind of help desk powered by AI that empowers mortgage professionals with instant knowledge and automated workflows. Thanks to 24/7 service, clients receive superior experience throughout the loan process. Capacity connects apps, mines documents, captures tacit knowledge, and automates processes through a mobile-friendly chat interface. David, I'm really excited to see the demo today. I feel like every time I speak with you, and when I've seen this platform before, I've learned something new each time. I know our audience feels the same way. So without further ado, the stage is yours, my friend.
All right. Thank you all for taking the time out. We'll try to make this both informative and entertaining. Let me share my screen and let's get started. So I thought we would kick off with an example here from our friends over at HomeFunded. So HomeFunded is a spin-off brand of CMG specifically focused on providing a millennial audience with the first-time homebuyer questions that they have. So you've got Capacity running on the HomeFunded site. And you can pull this up on homefunded.com yourself if you want to try along at home. They have their bot named Peyton after their French Bulldog mascot. You can see the intro welcome message. So I could ask a question like, I want to know down payment gifts. Now you'll notice here, as I'm typing, one of the beautiful things of the way that we set up the platform is that we can autocomplete and direct you toward the questions that Capacity knows how to answer. So Capacity came back with an instant response, pulled out the first paragraph. If there's a longer one, you can hit show more. And again, it's just simple, it's straightforward, and it's frictionless. Nobody had to get on the phone. Nobody had to write a long, boring email. Ask your question in natural language and get a response back. Now, with every response, we've got a thumbs up, thumbs down. So if I thumb this up, Capacity will match to that a little more often. If you thumb it down, it'll say, let me know what to do to improve for next time. Another example, you can see Capacity running externally on the Planet Home Lending website. So you pull up here, they branded their bot as Stella. Let's say I wanted to ask Stella a question about loan servicing, but I happened to fat finger it. And in fact, I just typed in lawn service. Well, with Capacity's natural language processing, it's able to pick up on the fact that I asked a question that was very similar to not one, but two different questions. So it'll come back and ask me, did you mean what is a loan service transfer? Will a previous loan servicer forward my payment to a new company? I'll make my selection and it'll come back instantly with a response. Again, it's just simple, it's straightforward, and it's frictionless. Now, not only can you ask questions to Capacity in an external or borrower-facing standpoint, but it can also be used for your internal team, your LOs, and the other folks in your staff. So we're going to show that next. So this is Capacity's console. You can think of this as the back-end interface for Capacity. And we're going to start out with a couple of internal examples you might ask. So if I wanted to know what are USDA income limits, and again, you'll notice as I'm typing, it does the autocomplete. Capacity will go directly into your regs and come back to you with links to the individual sections for that particular question. Another example, I could say something like, show the Johnson loan. And Capacity will go into your LOS, pull out the relevant information, rate lock, status, bank, everything that you care about. Another example, not only can Capacity retrieve information, but it can actually take actions on our behalf. So I could say, I want to schedule 15 minutes to meet with Cindy and Chris. And now Capacity is going to go look at my calendar, Cindy's calendar, and Chris's calendar. It's smart enough to know that we've got multiple Chris's in the org. So I'll go select Chris Dewar. And now it's going to find the first 5 times when all of us can meet based on our time zones, our meeting availability windows, and our preferences. I'll say, let's meet today at 2 o'clock. And the next thing you know, it will go in and add that directly to either our Google calendars or Outlook calendars. And just to show you this is actually happening in real time, I'll click on my handy dandy Google Cal. It'll pop up here in a new window. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because poor Cindy and Chris are the victims of my calendar scheduling demos, and they get really mad when I leave these fake invites on there. But you get the basic idea. Capacity can plug into a wide variety of apps, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's your Office suite, whether it's your LOS, you name it. Now, a couple things I want to walk through specifically. How do you manage the knowledge base? How do you administer this stuff? How do you make it really easy for people to access the information internally? So we're looking at the Capacity console here. It's broken out into a couple sections. You've got the help desk, knowledge base, app store, developer platform, workflows, analytics, and settings. So I'm in the knowledge base right now where I could search at the top, I could filter the information for new or expiring questions, or I could scroll down into the knowledge library for any particular directory that you care about. So in this case, we'll go click on our F&A directory. I'll click on human resources, and I'll go pick on facilities here. And when I click on this dialog, this will show all of the questions and answers associated with this particular topic and all of the groups that have access to this information. So if I click on where our office is located, we can see the variance of the question on the left. You can see the response on the right. If I wanted to go in and update this, I can just click and go in and edit. We give you all the WYSIWYG editors that you'd want. We can also link directly to documents out on the web or documents hosted within our Capacity Cloud Drive. Now, there are going to be times in which you have a question that's only good until a certain time frame. So we built in an expiration date in here. So if information is only good to the end of the quarter or the end of the fiscal or the end of the new year, you can put an expiration date and that information will no longer match when you ask that question. Now, let's say we've got a big gnarly document that we want to search for. We want to not only search for the document, but we want to ask a question into the document itself. So I can do that with Capacity. So if I asked about the parental leave policy, you'll notice here, in addition to the Q&A that we selected, it can actually take me directly to page 24 of our employee handbook. That'll get me right to the parental leave section of that document that I care about. Again, it's just simple, straightforward, frictionless. We are trying to help you find all of the information you need without having to know where everything's stored, without having to know exactly how to ask the question. You just use natural language to get where you want to go. All right. Now, if we were just connecting your knowledge and your documents, that'd be great. But really what we want to be able to do is we want to plug into your apps. Every organization has apps on top of apps on top of apps. I think I read a stat the other day that said the average organization has something like 117 apps that they use. We want to make those apps accessible via natural language. So I can go into the Capacity Developer Platform. I'll go look for example, for Salesforce. You can see all of the different API connections we built into Salesforce. So you can hook your get them talking to each other, and go on your merry way. Now, some of the time you've got a question and answer out, but other times you've got a question and it doesn't have an immediate answer. It needs to take you through more of a guided conversation. With our guided conversation builder, we can step you through your conversation and take you down a path depending on what you select. So in this case, I had a question here on educational benefits. If I selected that I was an intern, it would say, sorry, interns, we're not giving you any educational benefits. But if I was a full-time team member, you could select an online course or tuition reimbursement, etc. We have a wide variety of different cards you can place in a guided conversation, whether it's multiple paths, sending an email, creating a ticket, starting a workflow, routing an inquiry, etc. A couple more things I want to show today. One, if you have a proprietary database where you're tracking your analytics, it used to be really difficult to get that information into conversational experiences like Capacity. Well, not so. With our live DB platform, you can now write a query and have that query map back to your database and then drop that directly into a conversation. I don't have time to show all of it today. If you have more questions on this, happy to give you a follow-up demo. All right, let's get to the kind of the grand finale here. Let's talk about workflows. The way we think about a workflow is imagine taking an offline process, digitizing that process, and assigning steps of that process directly to the Capacity bot. So here we've got an employee onboarding, loan creation, loan origination workflow. I can click on loan origination and it'll take me through all of the steps of the flow itself. Now, if I go over to my toolbox on the left, I can go embed a workflow within another workflow. This is helpful in cases where you have one team that manages one part of the process that's embedded in another process, might be embedded in an outer process. Now, in this particular case, I want to go add an additional task. In this particular example, let's dive into the workflow first. We'll go see our embedded workflow here. And now I want to add a new task around sending the closing disclosure at the end of the loan. So I go at my task, I'll drag and drop it into my workflow. Now I can give it a name, a description. We can assign this off to Isabel on my team. And then when I hit create, that step has been added to my workflow. Scroll up to the top, turn this workflow on. Now if I go back to my main workflow screen, we can see that Amy Anderson has applied for a loan. She's 3/4 of the way through the process. You can see all the steps that she's completed along the way. Now, if I click on any one of those steps, you can see the time each particular step takes. This particular task has been in progress for 15 minutes, but on average, it takes an hour to complete. And it's taken 3 days from the beginning of the workflow to get here. So if you want to know what are your bottlenecks, what are your holdups, what is keeping your work from flowing, we can help you out with that. Now, if I click on view ticket details, this is going to kick me over to our help desk. Our help desk, you could think of it as a replacement for Zendesk, Freshdesk, even ServiceNow. And it can work together with those platforms as well. So it can be either or. But you see your tickets here over on the left that are assigned to Isabel. You can see all the ticket information, collected data, priority, tags, etc. We have these little embedded actions. So Isabel could go in and hit send closing disclosure, check the box, flip this over to resolved, and be on her merry way. Now she's doing this once or twice a week. It's a totally fine way to do it. But really, if she's doing this often, we don't want this to be a task for Isabel or anyone on our team. We want to make this an automated task. We want to reassign this task directly to the Capacity bot. So that's what we'll do here. So I'm going to hit assign to Capacity. We can link this off to an action. In this case, it'll be a send an email action. We can fill in information we collected earlier on in the conversation, email address and the full name, etc. Now I go hit create. And then next thing you know, that task has been assigned directly to Capacity and linked to our Gmail integration. Now fast forward a couple steps and stages, I think we can automate as much as 70% of your workflows. Now the last thing I want to leave you with is where we're heading. And this has to do with applying machine learning toward your documents. Now this is not live yet, but I want to give you just a preview of where we're going in the back half of this year. So this is what we would call our machine learning documents. And the basic idea is, imagine taking a document, uploading it into our cloud drive, but instead of treating that document like a regular searchable document, like we showed with the parental leave example, we want to actually treat that document like it's a database. So I can go select the document template, go in and say that, this particular document is a contract. We can see all the different fields associated with that contract. And our thesis is that even though this is a 27-page contract, if I can answer these 8 or 9 questions, I can probably give you the bulk of the information you need, 95% of the value. Now, if I go hit mine, we will start mining that contract and automatically extracting out the relevant fields from the document itself. And so if you wanted to ask a question like, when does the Intellect's contract end, or what's in the indemnification clause, or is it signed, you'll be able to do that. All that is coming to the platform in Q4. So just to recap, Capacity's here, answer your questions through our automated knowledge base chatbot combination. Anything we can't answer goes off to the help desk. We've got our workflow automation platform to pull in from your various apps, your logic, your sub-workflows, and everything you'd like. Anything it can't automate becomes a task in the help desk. And then finally, we're building toward our machine learning documents where we can treat just about anything like a database. With that, let's open up for questions.
Of course. I love that you gave us a little sneak peek. I love demo day. You heard it here first. To take you through some questions, can Capacity be added to an internal intranet?
Absolutely. There is one line of JavaScript. You can place it on SharePoint. You can place it on your intranet. It can work externally or internally, either way.
Awesome. Love it. I love a good workflow. Love a good workflow. Here in marketing, that's all we talk about is workflows. Is there a way to see all of the incoming questions that Capacity receives?
Yes, I did not get a chance to demo it this morning, but we have an analytics section. So you can see every single question that comes in. You can see whether it got an instant response, what went to the help desk, etc.
Awesome. So if they want to hear more, they should reach out to y'all for sure. And then maybe one more. How long does it take Capacity to learn new information?
Yes. So one of the best things about Capacity is we like to say you don't need to clean up before you take a bath. You can take your documents, put them directly into the cloud drive, and we'll start indexing them automatically. As you ask questions to Capacity, Capacity will either know the answer and come back to you with it. If it doesn't know the answer, it can send it off to the help desk, and your team can help you map that to an existing question or add it as a new response. And then if it's right in between, it'll come back and clarify. And with those clarifications, it's learning every single day. So you don't need to spend a year building out these intricate data systems. Get Capacity, get your documents uploaded, get them searched and indexed, and you can start answering questions very quickly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, David. I love the sneak peek. I love workflows. This is an exciting product for me. I'm going to bring back Clayton, who's going to wrap us up. Oh, yeah. And don't forget, we're popping up this poll. If you're interested in learning more about Capacity, select yes, please, for sure.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, David. And everybody, I just want to remind you that one of the unique things we do with our HousingWire demo days is we do some trivia questions and give away a few sets of AirPods in the process. And as we move through this first demo, I'm just going to use this housekeeping opportunity to do our first trivia question. So hopefully you were paying close attention during David's presentation about Capacity. During his presentation, David walked through taking an offline process and taking it online by building a workflow. He created a new task in the loan origination workflow. What was that task that David created? Drop it in chat. That's the instructions here. So if you're in chat, you can put your, we're getting some answers. I think we got a right one. So our trusty host, Talia, will be on top of choosing the person who answered the fastest and getting you set up with some AirPods. But on that, time to jump forward into our next